I'm changing my life in 12 months. This is the experiment, and this is how I started. So, what's the plan? What are the goals? How many subscribers? How many posts? What workout routine? How much weight should I lose? What do I need to buy? How many tests a day? How much of myself do I need to change? Perfect guy I need to date? What does the perfect version of myself look like? So yeah, this month we're doing none of that. Let's start at the beginning. In 2024, I hated most things about myself. So in an effort to change the way I felt about myself, I tried to improve by giving myself tasks and goals over and over and over again. But the problem with it is I was already so low, and every time I didn't reach a goal or like I fell behind, I just gave myself another reason to hate myself just a little bit more. In November, I quit my job for multiple reasons, but mostly because I absolutely despised the person that I had become at my job and in my personal life. In December, so right after I quit my job, I got really sick and I ended up in the hospital. And basically, I was housebound from then on until the end of January when I had my gallbladder surgically removed. During that time, I had a lot of time to think and reflect. And something important that I realized was that I tried to fix things by putting more restrictions on myself and more pressure on myself. And I was doing that in a life that I already didn't like. And I was just taking the little joy that I had away. I had this mindset that I had to disappear for 6 months and I had to do it all alone. I had to go into beast mode. It was like I was trying to convince myself that if I did all the right things, I would become a good version of myself and I would be happy. So when I first got the idea for this experiment, I started watching a lot of other videos of people doing it, how to change your life, how to improve yourself. All of the people that I watched, they had really big goals. And because I got sick, I ended up starting this experiment in March. And so when I watch the people now, I feel like either they stopped posting or it faded out. And I was wondering, like, what are we all missing? What are we all doing wrong? Because we all really want this. And so what I concluded for myself is everything all at once, all alone, is not gonna work. I believe that you cannot change with the same tools and the same thought processes that got you stuck in the first place. So I came up with another way to approach it. But I didn't really know how to start or like where to start. So in March, I decided to go all in, chase my dreams, chase the dreams that I once had, visit the places that I want to visit, go all in. And I decided that the best place to start and the best thing to do was to give myself some space to breathe. I didn't know who I was anymore. I worked so long at a job that consumed so much of my time that it became my identity. I scrolled on my phone so much that I didn't have a single original idea in my head. It was all recycled thoughts from somebody online. I Googled everything that I didn't even need to think during the day. I needed to get to know me. Step 1. Who am I? Do you actually know what you do in a day, what your routines are, how your body reacts to certain things, why you're not making the money you want, where does the money you do make go, what you eat in a week, or why you're not eating the things you should be eating, what you wear, and why you keep wearing this if you want to change your style. If you don't know who you are, then how can you change it? I started implementing these 3 things in order to find out. 1, I started writing in my diary daily. 2, I started a very detailed money tracker. 3, I started tracking every minute of my day. Yeah, let's get into it. So I always had a diary. Sometimes I would write in it for a long period of time and sometimes I wouldn't write in it for a year. I started reading The Artist's Way, picked up my diary again, like made the commitment to do it on a daily basis. Writing everything down in the morning helped me a lot. Getting some clarity, but mostly it helped me getting up in the morning. Since I didn't have a job, I didn't have like a reason to get up, and I made writing in my diary my reason. It was get up, make my bed, drink some water, and then write in my diary. I started adding my morning routine right after it. I made a money tracker. Since I quit my job, I didn't have like a steady income coming in, and it stressed me out. But I also didn't really know what I was working with. And so back in January, I grabbed all my money together and I started tracking. And I didn't just track groceries. I made all these separate categories: drinks, snacks, food, utilities, to see where my money goes. It released some of the stress because now I have a good overview of like, what do I still have left? How much time do I have before I really need a job? I also figured out that I don't spend that much money, which is great. Who doesn't want to hear that? I won't get too detailed about it just because I don't know if anybody is interested in that. Yeah, basically that's the only reason. Next thing I did is I started tracking every minute of my day, which I know it's a bit crazy, but honestly I had no clue of what I was doing during my day. Like, I started tracking my time back in December because I wanted a month of material before I started the experiment. Then I ended up starting the experiment in March. Spoiler alert, a lot of time goes to social media. However, some things that I didn't anticipate on happening is that I found patterns in how my day was going, like how I would do a task and then I would reward myself by scrolling on my phone. And I would always be like, oh, I'm just gonna sit down for a little bit, and then an hour would pass. Also, the lost hours between, hey, I'm gonna go to bed, and then eventually being in my bed, like all these things I just didn't know. You don't pay attention to it and you think something takes like 10 minutes but it takes you an hour, and you think other things take you an hour and it takes like 8 minutes. I eat for about 7 minutes. It's been already really cool to see how much progress I've seen since December and now. I will get into this in another video, but I do recommend tracking your time. If not every minute, then at least periods. So that was step 1, who am I? And now we get to step 2, implement fun, not restrictions. So yeah, I didn't want to restrict myself anymore. So I didn't say to myself, no more fast food. You need to work out 4 times a week. You cannot go out anymore. You need to do this alone. Eat healthy every day and cook every day. I was like, hell no, or none of it. Because you know what? This is a life experiment and not a life punishment. That's not to say that I didn't do anything. So this is what I did instead. I started Project Pan, which I started back in January, but in March, since I started leaving my house again, I was finally able to experiment with things and, you know, really use up my products. Yeah, that was fun. And a byproduct from it was that I started planning other things in my life as well, like candles and pens, food. I've been having fun with that, and it helps me declutter in a way that doesn't feel like, oh, we need to declutter and we need to throw everything away. So it's been fun. Honestly, I'm really having fun with this. Next, I didn't put a fitness goal yet. I don't want any stress on my body. I just had surgery. I'm still like recovering a little bit, but I did try to reach 10,000 steps a day. Very, very soon I realized it wasn't possible because my body got so exhausted. I did make a list of goals, but it was a list of fun goals, and I just put them on the background of my phone, and it was a reminder to sometimes do something different. So basically it said, learn how to play the harmonica. I don't even own a harmonica, but it sounded like a fun thing to do. Learn how to cut vegetables like a chef, which every time I cook, I now try to do that. This isn't really a goal, but I started working in the garden again. I actually really love working in the garden, and so I'm trying to pick that up again, especially when the sun's out. Next is I tackled my paperwork, and I know that's not a fun thing to do, but it was causing me a lot of stress. Yeah, it gave me such a relief when I was finally done with all those papers. And then the last thing I did is I got a haircut. I like it. It makes me feel a bit new, like a fresh start. Step 3, stop spending time alone at home. I get it. I love to stay at home as well. But you cannot change all on your own. You need like new perspectives and people to talk with and things to see in order for your mind and body to change. By going outside and spending time with friends and family, you're able to broaden your horizon and your view and get like new insights and learn new things. And that's how you're going to be able to change. So that's the very last thing that I did in March, is spend as much time as possible with friends and family. And by the end of March, I started to feel a bit more like myself again. And at moments, I even already liked myself. So while for the outside world, probably nothing looked different besides my hair, I felt a lot of difference by doing all these little things. And I got so much clarity about myself that I even started to see bigger goals, which I'm gonna talk about in the next video. I'm really excited for what the next months will bring and how much I will be able to grow by taking the time to first getting to know myself. And I hope I can help somebody by talking about this. Start by getting to know yourself, because you are the only person that has to live with yourself every day. So let's try and create somebody that we like. Oh my God, people do this for a living, talking to the camera. This is crazy. I want to do this, but it's way harder than I thought it would be. Bye-bye.